Stormy conditions are expected on Friday night as Tropical Storm Crising approaches Northern Cagayan. Based on Pag-asa's 5 p.m. bulletin on Friday, July 18, the center of the eye of Crising was last spotted 135 kilometers east of Apari, Cagayan. It carries maximum sustained winds of 75 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 90 kilometers per hour. Crising is moving west-northwestward at 20 kilometers per hour. Signal number 2 is raised in Batanes, Cagayan including Babuyan Islands, Isabela, Apayao, Kalinga, the northern and central portions of Abra, the eastern portion of Mountain Province, the eastern portion of Ifugao, Ilocos Norte, and the northern portion of Ilocos Sur. Light to moderate damage to high-risk structures and very light to light damage to medium-risk structures are expected in areas under signal number 2. Meanwhile, signal number 1 is raised in Quirino, Nueva Vizcaya, the rest of Mountain Province, the rest of Ifugao, the rest of Abra, Benguet, the rest of Ilocos Sur, La Union, the northern portion of Pangasinan, the northern portion of Aurora, and the northeastern portion of Nueva Ecija. Areas under signal number 1 are forecast to experience minimal to minor impacts from strong winds. According to Pag-asa, Crising will move west-northwestward within the next 12 hours. It is forecast to make landfall over the northeastern portion of mainland Cagayan or Babuyan Islands on Friday evening. Pag-asa says that Crising will continue to move west-northwestward until it exits the Philippine area of responsibility by Saturday afternoon, July 19. President Bongbong Marcos and United States President Donald Trump are set to discuss cooperation on economic, defense, and security matters of mutual interest during Marcos's upcoming trip to Washington, D.C. In a briefing on Friday, July 18, Foreign Affairs Assistant Secretary for American Affairs Raquel Solano says President Marcos's visit would include a bilateral meeting with Trump as well as meetings with business leaders who are already in the process of investing in the Philippines.
During the visit, the two leaders will discuss closer cooperation in economic, defense, and security matters of common interest. As you are all aware, the President's official visit also aims to address the U.S. tariff proposed to be levied on Philippine exports.
Solano says the two presidents will also have an exchange of views on regional issues and concerns, including issues in the West Philippine Sea. Solano notes that President Marcos is the first head of state from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to be invited to visit the U.S. and hold a meeting with Trump. Solano adds that President Marcos is also set to invite Trump to attend the East Asia Summit in 2026, which will be held in Manila. President Marcos is scheduled to undertake an official visit to the U.S. to meet with President Trump from July 20 to 22. According to Solano, President Marcos will not meet with the Filipino community in Washington due to the limited duration of his trip. Some senators differ on convening the impeachment court on August 4 for Vice President Sara Duterte's trial. Senator Joel Villanueva previously said that 46 senators had informally talked with Senate President Chis Escudero to start the trial on August 4 to give the chamber time to decide its leadership, chairperson roles, and address housekeeping concerns. In a statement on Friday, July 18, Senator Kiko Pangilinan says he would seek clarification about the proposed date. Citing the Constitution, Pangilinan says it is better to convene on the earliest possible time and there should be no delay in the trial proper. Meanwhile, Senator Ping Lacson in a statement on Friday says he wanted the chamber to discuss and vote on the matter in plenary, seeking a justification for the proposed date. Lacson maintains that they should follow whatever the majority of the 24 senators decide, but he emphasizes that they should be able to explain their votes regarding the matter. Lacson adds that as a senator judge, he wants to hear or participate in the discussion of any major issue involved in the impeachment process before making a decision. For his part, Senator Bam Aquino says he had already consulted with legal experts and even tried on his senator judge robe in preparation for the trial. According to Aquino, they are ready to fulfill their duty and responsibility as senator judges. He says that they will carefully examine the evidence to be presented and that they will remain open-minded to the process. Aquino then says that the Constitution should be followed and the proposed start of the trial on August 4 shall proceed. The first session of the 20th Congress will commence on July 28 with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s fourth State of the Nation address. More than 30 other individuals could be involved in the case of missing Sabongeros. Citing his conversation with whistleblower Julie Dondon Patidongan on Friday, July 18, Justice Secretary Boying Remulla says they talked about clarifications and updates as well as other people who may be involved in the case.
We were talking about some other people who may be involved.
Mga gaano karami na po tinitingnan natin from when we started?
Marami na.
How many?
Maybe more than 32.
Remulla also says they are still trying to get more information from Patidongan, adding that he is a reliable witness.
Mahalaga yan kasi siyempre yung demeanor ng witness dapat talaga kabisado namin. And so far so good. So far so good. Very reliable siya. Yeah, we're still getting some information and clarifications about everything. Kasi marami talaga siyang data na alam. Marami siyang alam talaga. So we have to know what he knows.
Meanwhile, Remulla says that the search and retrieval operations in Tal Lake has been temporarily suspended due to unfavorable weather conditions. Last June, Patidongan claimed that the missing Sabongeros were reportedly buried in the Tal Lake. He previously identified businessman Atong Ang and actress Gretchen Barreto as the masterminds behind the case of the missing Sabongeros. Both have denied their involvement in the missing Sabongeros case. The National Police Commission previously disclosed that 18 members of the Philippine National Police were implicated in the complaint affidavit that Patidongan filed before the agency. The search and retrieval operations of the missing Sabongeros in Tal Lake has been temporarily suspended due to unfavorable weather conditions. In an interview on Friday, July 18, Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla says the current weather did not permit authorities to continue the search. Remulla explains that considering various conditions is the reason he stated that the search and retrieval operations could take up to 6 months.
Hold lang yun kasi yun nga, the weather does not permit us to carry out a good search. Kaya sinasabi ko 6 months kasi marami talaga tayong bubunuin na conditions para maging complete yung ating search.
The use of remotely operated vehicle for the search was also suspended. DOJ spokesperson Dominic Lavano IV earlier said the operations were temporarily placed on hold due to continuous rainfall and surface runoff from the nearby river. Tropical cyclone wind signals are currently raised in several areas in Luzon due to tropical storm Crising. The Department of Foreign Affairs lifts the voluntary repatriation status in Iran. In an advisory on Friday, July 18, the DFA says it lowered the alert level in Iran from level 3 or the voluntary repatriation to level 2, which is the restriction phase. According to the DFA, the lifting of the voluntary repatriation is due to what they see as supposedly positive developments in the security situation in Iran. Based on the agency's website, the restriction phase is issued when there are real threats to the life, security, and property of Filipinos arising from internal disturbance, instability, or external threat. Despite the lowering of the alert level, the DFA states that the Philippine Embassy in Tehran will continue to facilitate the voluntary repatriation of Filipinos. The DFA further says it will closely monitor the situation in the region and will update the alert levels as needed. Israel attacked nuclear and military sites in Iran on June 13, prompting Iran's retaliation.